Friends, welcome to WordsQ. Today we are back with our new chapter, that is a Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016 RERA. Why we selected this topic to discuss on WordsQ is the reason being this is the area which is being the area of concern in the home buyers and the developers and in the real estate. So being a common citizen, it is very important to understand what is this RERA is all about and what impact will it have on our life. So let's before we go deep into this RERA chapter, let's first understand how this is what is this RERA Act is all about, how it is going to be impacting real estate business, how it is going to change the real estate scenario, and how it is going to impact the buyer of the real estates. So first, let's take the important dates and timelines that is from when this law came and where it is as on today. So this law has been passed by the Rajya Sabha on 15th March 2016, and the bill was passed by the President on 25th March 2016, and after that it was published in Official Gazette of India on 26th March 2016 for the general information. Then if you see, few of the sections of this act were notified with effect from 1st May 2016, and the remaining section came into effect with effect from 1st May 2017. So you can say that the full-fledged act came into function from 1st May 2017 for entire nation, and respective states were required to pass the law legislative act under this RERA wherever there is a authority given to the states in that regard. So let's go further into this chapter. The second, we look at the salient feature of the Real Estate Act. So first feature that we see, that this act is extended to the residential and commercial real estate. This is not only limited to commercial and not to residential. This is for any kind of purchase of property. If you are buying, then it is covered by the Real Estate Regulation Act. Where this act is not applicable, or you can say where are the projects under RERA are not applicable under this act, that we will discuss in our future lectures. Then there is a registration of real estate project with regulatory authority. The basic feature and the main important feature of this RERA is that all the real estate projects, before they go into the actual construction or into actual project implementation, there need to be a registration of the real estate project with the regulatory authority. This regulatory authority here, it means the local authority or the state authority or whoever the authority in union territory or state territory respective as per the law. Then there is, if you can see, the basic difference is given if the area is less than 500 square meter, and if there is a less than 8 apartments, then this regulatory authority will not come into the picture. So you can also understand, then this act provisions will not apply where there is a area is less than 500 square meter for development. Then there is a registration of real estate agents. Like today we buy or sell any plot or any apartment, we have a real estate agents, but we don't have the brief idea whether they are actually authorized by the builder to sell those products or not. But under RERA we'll have those details available, who is the authorized dealer, who is being authorized by the project promoter to sell the project, and he will be registered under the RERA Act as a real estate agent to sell those plot and apartment, and he will, in case of any failure or in case of any non-compliance, he will also be held responsible along with the promoters. Then there is a promoters to make the disclosure of all relevant project information. Like this is the most important, the basic purpose of the RERA is to create the transparency in the real estate area, and that is the reason it is intent to create more transparency that it requires all the promoters here, it means that the developers, or the developers does not mean only a builder, it can be a society, it can be anybody who is going to construct or build any apartment or project. So details of the promoters, and like who are the promoters are: layout plan, plan development work, land status means title, etc., status of the statutory approval, number of parking, time period of project completion. So these details, this is just in summary form. These details you need to upload on the portal, that is the real estate. Every state will have the real estate RERA portal. On that you will have to upload these details for each and every project, and this will be available to general public for viewing, and so that they can make the fair decision whether they should go ahead with the purchase or not. Then there is a performer of agreement to be entered into with the buyer. So there is under RERA they have provided the agreement for sales template, so that agreement of sale should, and it must contain few of the details that are being mentioned in RERA that were not taken care of previously, like the exact area, carpet area, or you can say completion date, what will be the rate of interest, what will be the case of failure, how the notice will be served. So these details will be incorporated into agreement for sale. That agreement for sale, how it will be, what are the content it will have, that we will look in our future lectures. Then there will be a name and address of agent, contractor, architect, engineer, etc. So these are the basic features of the Real Estate Act. Now let's go in deeper into understanding how and introduce ourselves more to RERA. So before we start, then let's understand the key objective of this RERA Act. The first objective is to ensure the transparency, like we discussed, and efficiency in real estate sector in regards to the sale of plot, apartment, building, or real estate project. So how this objective will be achieved? This objective will be achieved by an online project information availability, by providing exact project status as per sanction plan. So like you must understand, know that if a builder is having, or a promoter or a developer is constructing any plot, he has to update his project status on quarterly basis on RERA portal, and that will be available to public for their decision making and for their awareness. Then providing the promoter's past background, that is most important, that you can, before you go ahead with any developer to for developing your area or plot, or you before you choose your developer to buy any apartment or plot, you can look at his past background from the RERA portal and understand what is his background, how successful he was, is there any non-compliance, is there any fraud, or any complaint against him, that can be known to the public through this portal. Then ensuring the disclosure of real estate project by the promoter. So every project will have a disclosure, every project will have a separate website, separate web page for the promoters, and all the details related to projects will be displayed on that dedicated page of the RERA Act. And that page will be, the access will be given by the regulatory authority, and the data will be fed by the promoters. Then there will be a real estate project registration. No project, no development, no building construction can be taken without the registration of real estate project. This project means it can be a building development or building addition or construction, anything. Then there is a real estate agent registration. This is very important, that not only the promoter but also the agents who act on behalf of the builder or the developers or the promoters to sell those plots or their apartments are also held responsible and being accounted, that who are they, what is their identity is, and how they are associated, and in case of any default or any fraud by the promoter or developer, they will be also held responsible. So now let's move ahead, and the RERA, the next objective of the RERA is to protect the interest of the consumer in real estate sector. So how it will protect the consumer interest? It will fix the time for the delivery of project to consumer. In agreement for sale itself, a builder or a promoter or a developer will have to give the timeline through in which he will deliver the project to the allottee or the buyer or the person to whom he has entered into agreement for sale. Then there is a penal provision for failure or delay in delivery to consumer in due time. So the builder just cannot get away from his liability, and he is responsible if there is any default. So he will be liable to pay penalty and interest along with the other penal provisions to the allottee or the person who has made the purchase from the developer. Now let's move ahead and see establishing the adjudicating mechanism for speedy dispute redressal. So why this is important, that today if there is any dispute arise out of the any sale purchase transaction in our any builder or developer, then we don't have any dedicated system, and it becomes very cumbersome or very hectic for a common man to get the redressal, because there is no dedicated mechanism, there is no dedicated forum to address those things. So under RERA there is a dedicated mechanism for redressal of real estate disputes. So if there is any dispute arising from the act or failure or default of any developer or promoter or real estate agent, then that can be immediately brought to the justice through this dispute redressal panel. Then there is a speedy and time bound resolution to the dispute. So that's good that not only they have given the mechanism, but also they have given the time bound resolution, like in which the dispute will be resolved. Then let's move ahead and see the next objective is establishing Appellate Tribunal to hear the appeals from the decision of direction of order of Real Estate Regulatory Authority. Even the Real Estate Regulatory Authority who will be monitoring and who will give the order on these projects, etc., he will have the right, even there will be the person aggrieved by the order of Real Estate Regulatory Authority can appeal to the Appellate Tribunal, and there will be a complaint redressal. There will be also a committee who will provide the recommendation to appropriate government on a matter relating to development and promotion of real estate sector. So by which I understand and I believe that by the implementation of RERA, most of the customer will see more transparency in real estate sector, and the developers will also, the honest developers and the developers with a good repute will find more place in the market than those who plan to defraud and plan to get away with the buyer's money. So if you liked our video, if you want to know more about this RERA and know more about this act, then please subscribe to WhatsQ channel, and in our next video we will discuss the important terms and definitions under RERA. Example, carpet area, common area, completion certificate, occupancy certificate, and many more, because these definitions have changed a lot from the previous definitions, and these have been modified. So it is important, before you enter into any agreement or you proceed with any future transaction, you must understand what does these terms mean in real estate sector. Thank you.